Hello there and good morning. The Polish have just stirred the EU pot by rejecting the primacy of EU law. Where could this be going? As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. In response to a recent ECJ ruling, the Polish Constitutional Court ruled itself yesterday that Polish law can take precedence over EU law. And further, it said that no state authority in Poland would ever agree to an outside authority limiting Poland's powers. And further, that the supreme law in Poland is its own constitution. And that what Poland calls international agreements, like the EU's Lisbon Treaty, are lower in rank than Poland's constitutional law. And now some people are wondering if a Polish exit from the EU, a Polexit, is on the cards. Cue gasps of disbelief and horror from the Brussels bureaucrats. You can imagine them getting all hot under the collar at the temerity of an upstart member state questioning the EU Commission and its grand European Court of Justice. Well, not exactly. They may have half been expecting that this would happen. But it still throws a large rock into the EU legal pond, and the ripples could have serious consequences, with EU concerns that this could change the relationship Poland has with the EU. And the EU has already withheld billions in pandemic relief funding from Poland because of this matter. Law above helping people. Maybe we should apply the same principle to our foreign aid programme. Only give the money to proven democracies, maybe. Anyway, this EU-Poland spat all stems from the Polish government rejigging the country's court system. And the EU decided that the resulting changes gave Polish ministers too much political power over the selection and judgments of the judges, something that would breach the EU Rule of Law Clause, Article 2 of the Lisbon Treaty. And on this, the EU says the rule of law is essential for the very working of the EU machine, and that the core of the rule of law is effective judicial protection, which requires the independence, quality and efficiency of national justice systems. The Polish government said tosh and claimed that how it puts its own courts together is no business of Brussels. As a result, the EU Commission took Poland to the courts, and the ECJ ruled against Poland being able to make these changes, and also considers the Polish Constitutional Court to be illegitimate as a result. And this would normally force the Polish government to meekly comply and undo the changes. But that very illegitimate Constitutional Court of Poland thumbed its nose at the ECJ and ruled that it was the ECJ itself that was violating the rules that give priority to the Constitution and rules that respect sovereignty amid the process of European integration. Basically saying there was a limit on how far the EU law went in controlling the internal affairs of EU member states. Something the Eurocrats vehemently deny. For them, EU legal primacy over member states is total, no limits. But the EU is also upset with Poland because of the country's attitude to women's rights, LGBTQ rights and freedom of the press. So bringing Poland to constitutional heel is very important to the EU at the moment. The last thing Brussels needs is for member states to start cherry-picking for themselves which bits of EU law they respect and which bits they disregard. That way leads the EU away from integration and towards disintegration, along the lines of what ever more devolution is doing in the UK. But if you remember, Poland is not the first to go down this path. The German Constitutional Court, which is considered to be a leader in this field, also recently ruled that the EU had broken its own laws and had gone too far. The German court ruled that the European Central Bank, the ECB, a major EU institution, had acted ultra vires, or beyond its powers, in the way it operated its quantitative easing programme. The German court ruling said that the ECB was using QE to prop up certain member states, like Italy, at the expense of other member states, essentially Germany itself, which the German court said broke EU law. It gave the ECB 3 months to prove its case, or it would order the German Bundesbank to stop propping up the Eurozone. The ECJ, though, begged to differ and said the ECB was acting to protect the whole EU and Eurozone. A judgment that some claim is itself flawed because the ECJ judges want to protect EU institutions. And that would make it a bit hypocritical, given that's what they're going after Poland for. It ended up with the ECB providing some paperwork, but as I understand it, this has still not yet been fully resolved. Now, the German courts have carved out 3 principles that they say override the EU courts, under an umbrella that the member states are the protectors of the EU treaties, not the EU itself. The first is the Solange principle of safeguarding fundamental German rights. The second is the German identity reservation to protect the German constitution. And thirdly, the ultra vires exception to protect Germany from the EU institutions acting beyond their treaty powers. Now, the EU Parliament's Policy Department for Citizens' Rights and Constitutional Affairs commissioned a report on the German court decision. And that ended up asking the question, is this the twilight zone for the primacy of EU law? Now, other EU member states have also had constitutional run-ins with the EU to varying degrees. Belgium, the Czech Republic, Denmark, France, Hungary, Italy, the Netherlands, and now Poland. And I see that as the natural pushback against a supposed mere trading bloc inserting its rather large proboscis into every facet of national life. But the EU does keep the pressure on and has now managed to get ever-increasing control over the levers of financial power. The pandemic relief funding, stemming from rule changes that could be argued are beyond EU competence, being withheld from Poland is the example. And the EU Parliament President David Sassoli tweeted out yesterday, "Today's verdict in Poland cannot remain without consequences. The primacy of EU law must be undisputed. Violating it means challenging one of the founding principles of the Union. We call on the EU Commission to take the necessary action." With EU Justice Commissioner Didier Reynders saying that all ECJ decisions are binding on all national courts and only the ECJ has jurisdiction to decide whether an EU institution has breached EU law. Basically telling Poland to get back in its box and do what it's ordered to do. And this is all a big driver in the EU trying to mete out as much punishment as it can on Brexit UK, because the Brussels bureaucrats have to prove beyond doubt that doing as you're instructed within the confines of the EU and surrendering your identity and national status to bureaucrat diktat is far better for you than going your own way. Should the UK prosper, which we will, there may come a time when some EU member states start realising they're being taken for a very long and expensive ride to national insignificance. In fact, you could view EU ever closer union as a form of reverse devolution, with Brussels taking ever more power, all backed up by its tame European Court of Justice. So what's your opinion on this Polish court decision? Please like and comment below.